Ever since Weta Digital brought Gollum to life in Lord of the Rings, it's been the world leader in motion capture technology. Next came King Kong, then Avatar and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And Steven Spielberg used it for the first time in The Adventures of Tintin. Now, Kate Rogers has been allowed to experiment with the technology on the condition she wears skin-tight lycra.
It's not my usual start to the day, and there was no part of my lycra-clad body left unturned.
I do feel like a science project.
Actually,
so this is what poor Andy Serkis and Jamie Bell and everyone had to go through every day.
After making over 400 million at the box office, The Adventures of Tintin is now on DVD and Blu-ray. And to celebrate, the Weta Digital team is having some fun at my expense. Quite a lot of fun.
Cool, we're nearly there.
I'm so echo.
I've been smothered in wee dots. These dots will map my body into Weta Digital's mega clever computers, which will in turn convert me first into this very cool, muscly iRobot man, and then, far more disturbingly, into an overweight, undershaved 3D goon from the Tintin movie.
Yeah, you're actually now on the virtual set of Tintin in the captain's cabin, and before you now, you can see Snowy.
Whoa!
And one of our stage performers, Craig, and we're here to...
That's a good stunt, that's excellent.
And you're actually, if you look behind you, you are this gentleman here, and if you turn back around for camera, we can see that you've now got a nice moustache.
For a given scene, let's say a minute's worth of footage on the Tintin film.
Yes.
How many hours would go into creating that?
It was a long process. There's a lot of technical expertise and a huge team of artists goes into that, and that took 18 months. We have Matt on virtual camera now. I don't know if Matt, if you could nod the camera a little bit for us. And we can see him over there. He's offset from us, but he has all the tools a cinematographer does. So I don't know, Matt, if you take a few steps back, you can actually basically walk through walls.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Of course, a goon's life is so often a short one. It became clear that my 3D goon time was well and truly up.
Don't go now!
Kate Roger, 3 News.
Boarding the ship used in Tintin, and luckily as well being joined by Jamie. Jamie, come here, mate. Look, this entire animated awesome creation is all thanks to the work that you and your team have done, isn't it?
Yeah, you're actually now on the virtual set of Tintin in the captain's cabin, and before you now, you can see Snowy.
Whoa!
And one of our stage performers, Craig, and we're here to...
That's a good stunt, that's excellent.
And you're actually, if you look behind you, you are this gentleman here, and if you turn back around for camera, we can see that you've now got a nice moustache.
That is beautiful. Paul Henry, come and get it. It is actually amazing what you can do with this technology. How many cameras are being used to create this virtual animated environment?
Well, we have 72 cameras up above that are tracking your every movement via these small little dots that are being fed into our banks of computers back there.
And turn me into this beautiful man.
An amazing performance that you're doing of a man with a moustache.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about performance capture, capturing all your movements and your performance, and we can even put a camera on your face to capture all the little nuances of your facial performance as well if we wanted to. So
now, you guys have worked in this industry a long time, and I get a sense that literally the technology is changing by the minute. So what has changed with something like Tintin, with this kind of full-on motion capture compared to other projects that you've worked on?
Well, the thing that we can do here is that we can have everybody in the set interacting. What we're trying to do is replicate a real live action set, but with all the benefits of the virtual technology.
Yeah.
So the director, if they came on a set like this, they have things to pick up, actors to interact with. That's really where we wanted to go with it. We want to make the technology transparent. It's just like a real film set.
One of the important, I have to confess, I was lucky enough to have a chat with Peter and Stephen, and what Stephen was saying that he loved the most is he got to actually hang on to something and hold on to something and look through it as a director would into a camera that was the virtual reality. He'd never ever been able to work under those sort of circumstances before.
Exactly, yes, that's one of the biggest tools in our box, and we have Matt on virtual camera now. I don't know if Matt, if you could nod the camera a little bit for us. And we can see him over there. He's offset from us, but he has all the tools a cinematographer does on the day. He can choose lenses, but the fact is he can move around freely. He can walk through walls if he wanted to. So I don't know, Matt, if you take a few steps back, you can actually basically walk through walls.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So there's a lot of freedom, and that's where Stephen would be found most days shooting. He'd be getting his shots from over there, and it allowed him a lot of freedom. He had a lot of fun.
Right, and this is something new again as far as the technology goes, being able to do that?
We've used it on films like Avatar, and we're using it on films like Tintin, and more we're finding that this way of virtual production is a way that directors love, because they are literally in the driving seat. They are controlling the camera themselves.
Now, one of the stars of this is obviously Snowy.
Yes.
He's a legend, isn't he?
He is.
Can I come over and... Does he like the goons, the bad guys, as much as he likes Tintin and Haddock?
Yeah, when we're not filling, he
studies with everybody?
Exactly.
Right, because these guys here have been trying to kill him, and me, essentially.
Yes.
Haven't they? They're armed with guns and everything. You right there, matey? Snowy the dog was important to get right, and I think from what I gather with the animation and motion capture, hair and water and things like that have been challenging. With something like Tintin, it was a bit of a triumph, wasn't it? A lot of work goes into those kinds of things.
Yes, Snowy was, his character was a pleasure to work on, because it was so much fun. But yeah, his fur was one of the biggest challenges. He has to jump into water, do so many things. He's an integral part of the story, so getting him right was key, because it's about the friendship between Tintin and his sidekick Snowy, and ultimately how they meet Captain Haddock as well.
And Haddock, I loved when we first met him. He was such an alcoholic old dear, and he was sweating and he was spitting, and you actually got a real sense of that, which given we're watching animation, was pretty special. Exactly.
Andy Serkis guided us all the way there, because this technology allows us to pick up all the nuances that he brings to the performance. And yeah, he had a lot of fun on bringing Captain Haddock to life, and we had a lot of fun taking his performance and really bring it to the screen in this animated world.
You raise a really interesting point, and like with Craig and these guys, your performance is still as key as it would be if you were not in a motion capture situation. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. The actors don't have to change the way they act. That's what we want and intend to do. We want to be transparent with the technology, and this is really like acting a rehearsal space. So it's very much like going back to the days of being rehearsing a play, and a lot of actors find a lot of freedom here, because they don't have a lot of the lights and the camera setups. We can go through many takes with very little time, and it really puts the actors and the director in the driving seat, more so than perhaps in a traditional live action film.
When we talk about, I know there's some weird term like rendering or something special like that, I don't know what it's called, but for a given scene, let's say a minute's worth of footage on the Tintin film,
yes.
How many hours would go into creating that for?
Well, when we filmed, we spent 30 days filming, a very short period of time. Exactly, but that goes back to the fact that really the creative process on set is very quick. It doesn't block the directors or the actors, but when we came to render, as you say, it was a long process. There's a lot of technical expertise, and a huge team of artists goes into that, and that took 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go, 30 days filming, 18 months post-production to actually bring it.
And another year to make my nose this big.
Yes, you look beautiful.
Thank you so much. I've always wanted a nose this big. It must be incredibly satisfying to sit in the cinema then and watch, 2 hours of what's essentially been all of that work and set looking so fab.
Yeah, I think everybody who worked on this film had a great time. It's a real fun ride of a movie. It's a Steven Spielberg film after all.
Yeah.
So yeah, when seeing it up on screen, we were all thrilled to see it do so well, and it looks great.
Well, it does. I loved it. I'm sure you're not at liberty to say, but are we expecting work to start on a new one soon?
At the moment, it's just great to have people here to see the technology. That's a lot of what
Good answer. You should be a politician. Did you see how he deflected that? That was awesome.
Yep. So a lot of what we're doing now is educating people as to this technology, because sometimes it's really hard to see beyond the film that you're seeing, and what we're doing now is educating people as to this very creative and free environment that we're giving the directors, but we're showing it to the audience now as well.
Absolutely. Now, getting something like this on Blu-ray and DVD is awesome, especially for the hard-out fans. Are they likely to be able to get a bit of a taster as they get the Blu-ray of some behind-the-scenes stuff that you guys have shot?
We certainly hope so, yeah. And we have lots of behind-the-scenes, and there's a lot of work that goes into behind-the-scenes, so the more that's shown on the Blu-ray is obviously more gratifying for us as artists who work behind the scenes, because it was a project that went for 5 years, so there was a lot of people involved.
Oh no, absolutely. Now, mates, I think we have to chuck him out now. He's kind of had his time.
Hey, come on!
I think you've been great, Jamie. Seriously, you have. But I think your time has come. And
Okay.
if I'm going to be strong,
Sorry.
good.
Okay.
Let's do it!
I'm going out.
Okay. Get him.
Oh.
You're done.
Okay.
Go.
Oh, I'm in the ether. Bye.